City of Cambridge has sort of a variety of tools that we're putting in our toolbox. We have some that already exist, and then we're adding some more. So I'll try and just touch on a few of them. One of the tools that's most exciting to me is what's called a land bank authority. It will be called the Land Bank Authority of Cambridge. Land banks are pretty common in the industrial Midwest, but I don't believe that there has been a land bank formed in Maryland yet. So if we are able to form one in the first quarter of this year, I think Cambridge will be the first. A land bank is an entity, a legal entity that can buy and sell real estate, and it can do that for benevolent purposes, if you will. It can take an underperforming piece of real estate property that's really, dilapidated, vacant, a house that's falling apart, can knock it down or repair it if that's feasible, and then try and return that piece of property to the productive marketplace so that eventually the tax base grows and people can find a home. Ideally, home ownership would be improved by that. And it's just a really interesting tool for what I would call market intervention for the city. And it wouldn't necessarily be a city entity, but the city commissioners would appoint the Land Bank Authority Board. And we're going to capitalize that with $1 million in 2024 in the current fiscal year. So the Land Bank Authority is a central part of our housing strategy. We have a meeting coming up with the county council later in July, and we hope to talk to the county council about how the city and the county, Dorchester County, can partner together, because the county, of course, oversees tax sale certificates and tax foreclosures and placing liens on properties. And so a public-public partnership between the city and the county will be instrumental. And of course, both the city and the county will benefit if we are successful in turning property back to productive use. Another tool that is mentioned in the white paper is what's called a homeowner helper program, and we're not settled in on that name. So if you have suggestions, Dave, I'm all ears. But how this would work is, City Council has provided $500,000 for this program in FY24. And that $500,000 would be available if the City of Cambridge code enforcement officers write an order on a property. You have to paint the house. You have to put on a new roof. You have to do something that's significant in terms of both the size of the problem and the cost of the project. We expect that most homeowners, most property owners are going to do that work and know that they need to do that work and are prepared to do that work. We also recognize that some homeowners probably are fixed income seniors, people who are low to moderate income, but nevertheless own a property, people who might be experiencing a medical crisis, whatever's going on in life that just takes over and prevents you from putting on a new roof. So the homeowner helper program will work where the city will hire the contractor. The city will pay the contractor. The homeowner will pick, what color shingle they want or what color paint to paint the house. The homeowner will be involved, to be sure. But at the end of the day, the contractor's paid. The home is compliant with the code enforcement order. And by agreement with the property owner, then a lien is placed on the property. It essentially means that whenever that property sells, the city's investment in that roof or the paint or whatever we did in the home will be paid back. So it allows for that homeowner who's unable to come up with the current cash to make that investment in their home, stabilize their home, protect their asset, and we protect the neighborhood. Everybody complies with the order, the contractor's paid. And so everybody really wins. And then eventually the city gets the repayment of that investment down the road. And that's a really exciting way to essentially become a 0% revolving loan fund. And then when that loan is repaid, that allows us to help another homeowner down the road with whatever she or he or they need done on their home. And so that is a program that I think can be replicated and needs to be added to year after year. But after a few years, it becomes essentially a self-funded revolving loan fund. Number one, it has to be an owner-occupied home. That home would have to be, again, an investment property, a landlord, somebody who's renting the house. That's not the solution for you. That program is not designed for you. It has to be somebody who has a genuine need. This is not a home loan program. This is, you have a need to fix up your property. You lack the ability to do it. Here's a helping hand to get you to do it. If you can do it on your own, that's far better for everybody. Yeah, the one thing that's unique about that is we will require, and this was designed on something that I created in Ohio, that property owner has an estate or a will. And why is that important? Because if the city is going to recover its lien, we need to make sure that the property is in a position to be conveyed whenever that person sells the house, including if they pass away. So there's another program that we're waiting to find out if we will get it. It's called the Healthy Homes Program. This is the one that probably excites me the most. We applied for a $4.4 million HUD grant. We feel very optimistic that we're going to get it because there's a specific allotment of money for communities like Cambridge that have never received this money before. So we feel bullish about our chances of getting it. It has a local match. So combined with the city's local match, we're talking about a $5 million investment over 2 years. So significant, $2.5 million. This program would spend anywhere from $20,000 to $25,000 per household unit to abate lead in homes. Any home built prior to 1978 probably has lead paint in it. And lead paint will chip, paint will chip, and lead paint will chip. And children, particularly under 6, toddlers, can ingest that, eating it by picking up a paint chip and putting it in their mouth like toddlers do. And that causes neurological damage that is lifelong and affects everything from educational attainment to career possibilities and behavior. So it's going to be a big effort to abate lead paint in our community. We know this is concentrated in our oldest homes and in our disadvantaged neighborhoods. So we are targeting the area around the Pine Street neighborhood, which is designated, but it's not limited to Pine Street. That's going to be our focal point. But if there are other homes that are in an income qualified census tract, we will gladly offer the Healthy Homes program in those neighborhoods as well. Like I said, at $20,000 to $25,000 per unit. So that can make a big difference. We know that the primary focus is lead paint abatement. But if there's another problem in the home, we will have some funds set aside to help with it. So for example, if there's a plumbing problem in the house, which is affecting the family, that's not sanitary, we can help with that. An electrical problem that creates a fire risk, we can help with that. Mold in the home, we can abate that. So the program is going to be flexible. And the other thing that's really exciting for me is this is a program that's available for homeowners and for landlord-owned tenant properties. It's just going to be up to the landlord and the tenant to agree to participate in the program. And we'll have funding set aside to temporarily move the tenant for a couple weeks while the work is done on the house, all paid for with the grant and local match, and move back to a lead-free healthier home.
But you've been at this for some time professionally. What's your observation about affordable housing and the term itself and how it's initiated in a community like Cambridge?
Who needs affordable housing? The answer is everybody, right? What is affordable housing? An affordable house, whether it's a home you own or an apartment or home that you rent, in order for it to be considered affordable, it has to cost you no more than 30% of your monthly gross income. So whether you make $1 million, which means you can afford a whole lot of house, or you make $20,000 a year, which means you are much more limited in what you can afford. Both families, the 20,000 and the $1 million annual income family, both families need an affordable house. It's just that the $1 million means the person can afford a lot more types of homes and a lot more options. Mm-hmm. For people who are on the lower end of the income spectrum, their options are much more limited. So, and there's all kinds of macroeconomic problems that have caused what is really an affordable housing crisis around the country. Few things related to that. One would be after the 2008 recession, we, as a society, stopped building homes. The population didn't stop growing, but the number of new housing starts just dropped like a rock. And that stuck around for many years. And so now we're enduring the policy consequence of having millions of housing units that were not built in the 5 years or so after the 08 recession. And that causes upward price, supply and demand. Mm-hmm. You know, if there's not the supply, the price goes up. The demand is built in based on demography. There is another set of problems associated with that, which is the foreclosure problem that was sharpest in 08 and 09. There are corporations that have bought up huge swaths of single family homes that are no longer available for people to buy. They're rental properties. These are referred to as REITs, real estate investment trusts. So we have Wall Street has seen a business opportunity to intervene in the market, and they have, and that has reduced the supply. We have things like the student loan crisis. That means there's a whole generation of college graduates who are not able to borrow the money that a previous generation or two were able to buy. We've had the pandemic shock. We've had a variety of other circumstances that have led to a declining housing quality, disinvestment. We have a hard time finding skilled tradesmen and women to fix up properties. So all of these things come together in a perfect storm where we have price spiking on the rental market. We have the same number of people or more people are looking to rent or buy a home. And there's less of a supply, and there's all these other macroeconomic trends that are really affecting our ability to address that. So how does that affect Cambridge? Well, we have an aged housing stock here. We've had disinvestment or underinvestment in many of those units. We have far too many homes that are owned by slumlords. Not everybody, to be clear, who rents out a home as a slumlord, but we have more than our share in Cambridge. And we need to address that. The city does through interior home inspections, through code enforcement. The Land Bank Authority could be a tool that could help us intervene in the marketplace to take out of hands of a malevolent landlord and put that home into a benevolent hand, the land bank, and return it to the productive use in the marketplace. So I think there's a number of challenges that Cambridge faces. We didn't get in this position overnight, and it will take us a good deal of time to dig our way out of it.